Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today on Real Cryme With Cletus. My name is Adam Malone, and it is currently exactly what time it is. We're going to start today's show off with a new segment we're calling the No Shit News. And today's No Shit News story of the day comes to us from sunny Florida. We are visiting everybody's favorite father, Timothy Ferriter. You'll remember him from the Boy in the Box trial. He's the one that locked his son inside of that 64 square foot custom-made bedroom in the garage. He was found guilty on all charges of child neglect and abuse, and he is currently awaiting sentencing. While he's awaiting his sentencing, he went ahead and asked the judge, hey man, can I go home? You know what I mean? While I'm waiting sentencing, go home, see my wife, maybe off myself, who knows? And the judge considered his motion and said, are you fucking kidding me? No. And so the motion was denied. And that is today's No Shit News of the day. For our first story, we're going to go to Wisconsin and the most honorable Judge Jennifer Darrow. You'll remember her. She's the same woman that presided over the Christmas Day Massacre parade involving this fucking wacko. But back to Jennifer Darrow. She is presiding over the Eyedrops murder. And what this case is this woman poisoned her friend with eye drops. And the main ingredient that will do that in eye drops is called tetrahydrozoline. And what tetrahydrozoline will do is mirror like if you overdose on it, the symptoms mirror that of pain medications, heroin, shit like that. So her friend was prescribed those types of medications and was hoping she could crush them up, leave them around the place, and make it look like her friend had simply overdosed. However, they performed these things called toxicology reports. And when they did so, they found that her opiate levels were purely therapeutic and that it was actually tetrahydrozoline that was the culprit. So we're going to keep our eye on this trial for the most honorable Jennifer Darrow. Next, we are going back to Florida, and when we're right here on Real Cryme With Cletus, we are right. We told you last week that we don't know how this move by defense works, getting rid of this lead prosecutor there, Christine Bradley, because she was not very good, and if you get rid of her, somebody else is coming in, and there's a very real chance that that person coming in is going to be substantially better. And surprise, surprise, ladies and gentlemen, the new prosecutor on the case is Alexandra Bucklew, and she is substantially better. She turned these witness tampering charges into 6, count them, 6 new charges against YNW Melly, and they are involving gang shit and him trying to tamper with witnesses, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is not a good look. And, we got some breaking news coming in. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, it has just been reported to me by my field reporter, the number one guy out there in the field, Cletus, that actually Melly might be getting in even more trouble because a fellow inmate is telling guards that Melly has been sneaking contraband into prison, which is drugs. He's sneaking drugs in, and he's selling it to the other prisoners. And if that gets added on top of everything else, that is not a good look, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we are going to Delphi, Indiana, in the Richard Allen case. Richard Allen is up Schitt's Creek, as both his defense attorneys just fucking quit on him after they leaked them crime scene photos. And the guys' names are Baldwin and Hennessy. That is not a liquor store / modified gun shop. No, sir, those are his defense attorneys. Both of them walked. Mind you, they walked after posting pictures of him, making him look like he crawled off the fucking middle of a Dostoevsky novel. He looks like shit. They bring up these huge memorandums talking about Odinism and naming other suspects. And now he's got a new defense team. If they take and ignore all that shit that the other defense team was doing, those questions are still going to be out there. It's going to be in appeals courts forever, and just in the general public, they're going to be like, but what about the Odinists? What about them trailer park cultists that they named and we found their Facebook and we've been harassing them for killing them kids? What about them? So that's something to keep your eye on, ladies and gentlemen. And next, we are going to take a small break for our sponsored segment. We are back, and for this next story, we're going to take you across the pond. We've got an international story today, and it's about the snare and glue trap ban in Wales. And you see what happened is they banned the use of glue traps. They're like this, and you put them on the ground, and then mice run across them. They get stuck in them and they die slow and painful deaths. It's pretty barbaric, brutal, you decide. And what's crazy is that there's this fellow over there named Gareth Davies. Gareth works for Pest and Property Solutions, this guy, and he is claiming that these glue traps, while they are barbaric and that like your everyday citizen shouldn't have access to them, for the professionals like him, they absolutely need access to things like this. because just last week he got called into a restaurant by a customer, not the owner, a customer. And this customer told him there's a rat in the store. And when Gareth found this rat, it was 65 centimeters long. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you in America, 65 centimeters long is as tall as this 1930s Art Deco French lamp. That's a big fucking rat, all right? And this glue trap, sometimes in a last-ditch situation, you got to get them then and now. It's the only option. So he's quite upset about it. That's one to keep your eye on, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we've got everybody's favorite burger. That's right, Bryan Kohberger. And he's got a couple of things going on in the news. They're not really news, but us Kohberger freaks are all about it. First things first, Brian's aunt said he might have done it. I don't know. Conspiracy or coincidence? Next, Xana Kernodle's mother, one of the victims' mothers, went on Facebook and made these posts. And now the only other parents that have really been vocal, most of them have been non-committal, but the ones that have been vocal about this case are the Gonzalez. And Steve is, like, oh, this Kohberger guy, we got to get Kohberger, making it seem like Kohberger did it. He's more on the prosecution side. Xana's mom came out and is asking questions and saying things that aligns with the defense and conspiracy theory side. And so people latched right on to her, They're like, oh my goodness, she finally said something we want to hear. We want to hear parents say this kind of stuff. And then she is arrested with a $50,000 bond for drug charges because her past is so checkered. Magnus Carlsen wants to play next year's World Chess Championship on her past. And that is what is going on in the Kohberger case. And people are like, well, why did this warrant get put out for? Why did she get arrested? Was it because of what she said? So, coincidence or conspiracy? You decide at home. And for our last story, we are going to go ahead and we are going to pitch to our field reporter, Cletus. Cletus is down there in beautiful Alabama where he was in the hearing for this Joran Van Der Sloot. The man confessed to killing Natalie Holloway in 2005 in Aruba. Let's go ahead and pitch it down to him. Cletus, you there for us, man? You still in the field?
Thanks for having me on again, man. Yeah, I'm still out here in the field.
Good, good. What's the vibe like down there at the courthouse today?
Well, the vibe in front of the courthouse, man, it's kind of dead. I mean, that hearing was days ago. Everybody's gone home but me. I'm the only one still hanging around the place.
Yeah, but you were there for the hearing. Can you go ahead and take us kind of behind the doors of justice? Tell us what happened.
Yeah, sure thing, Adam. I can do that. It was a solemn scene inside the courthouse. This fucking loser gets up there in front of God and country, says the most disgusting shit, talking about how he wanted to have sex. She didn't, so he kicked her in the face. He thought she might have been dead right then and there, but just to make sure, he caved her fucking head in with a cinder block and threw her in the ocean like he was a member of the U.S. government. Despicable.
That is outrageous. He said that kind of stuff in front of her parents?
Yeah, he got up there and said that shit in front of her family. I think he got some kind of sick pleasure from that part of it, my friend.
And so, what now? He's been found guilty in her death?
No, he's not guilty of nothing. See, this was just a confession, not a conviction. Statute of limitations are up. This was just part of his plea deal for the extortion bullshit he tried pulling. And so he got 20 years for that, but that's going to run congruently with his sentence he's serving down there in Peru, in a Peruvian prison.
Now, we've heard about this Peruvian prison before, right? It's more like his little playhouse, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing about it, Adam. I mean, from what I can gather and reckon, it seems like he really was running the show down there. He had drugs coming in and out. He had his own drug network set up where he was giving drugs to the prisoners, selling them outside of the jail. He was fathering children. They had a woman that comes and goes and sells candy and cigarettes like it's a fucking prison preschool, and that's the woman that he made a child with, the one selling candy and fucking cigarettes. Unbelievable, people.
That is unbelievable. Thank you for joining us, Cletus. We'll see you next week, buddy.
Thanks for having me, buddy. See you next week.
Yep, you're welcome. Enjoy your evening down there in Alabama. All right, folks, that is going to wrap it up for this week's episode of Real Cryme with Cletus. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week.